microphone fiend, the 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 microphone fiend.
Hello, boys and girls. You are now listening to Peter Talks Wrestling With. Man, honestly, this should be our own little thing. This should be just Nathan and Peter, honestly, because it's very rarely I get anyone else.
That's fine with me if you want to do that.
Outside of you.
That's fine with me
to
if
do
you
that.
want to do that.
Maybe Peter Talks Wrestling With, but this could be like Peter and Nathan or some shit like this. Like, it could be its own entity on
Peter and Nathan Talks Wrestling or something like that.
No.
No, yeah.
Maybe like, I don't know, Spine Buster Radio. No, I don't even know. I'll come up with something, but nevertheless, it seems like you're the only one I ever do this with. So, I mean, I need to find some. If you're out there listening, you want to fucking talk some wrestling, just let me know. If you're listening, all 30 of you just listening right now, either on YouTube, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, or Tumblr. But just
wait a minute, people are listening live right now?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
No, this is the podcast. I'm saying, like, if you're listening now,
yeah. Yeah, no, I got you. That always throws me off because, like, I'm used to doing stuff on Blog Talk, and I know that we have live listeners on there.
Yeah.
But then when we get on Skype and you talk about, like, live listeners as if they're listening live,
no, dude,
it always throws me off because I'm used to being live.
Okay, I'm thinking you haven't had your coffee or something. So.
No, I'm still getting over a cold.
Okay, so check this shit out, right? I had to write some stuff down because it's been pretty slow over the past 2 weeks. I would say the only thing that's really like even discussable, is that a word? Discussable? Did I just make up a word?
I don't know if that's a word or not.
I'd
have to consult my Webster's dictionary.
All right, discussion worthy? How about that?
Yeah, that's probably better.
Is just the whole build up to Mania, honestly. I mean, there's some other things, but like
it sucks.
I mean, we got some tragedy. We got some NXT stuff. Not a lot of movement in Lucha Underground. There's a bunch of tournaments happening with New Japan.
Lucha Underground had an awesome show on this last Wednesday.
Dude, I'm so behind. I haven't even watched that. I'm like, actually,
they had a
don't spoil anything.
Casket match,
huh?
And it was freaking awesome.
It was a what match?
It was a casket match.
Oh shit! Mia Mortez versus Phoenix.
Yes, and it was phenomenal.
All right.
You need to see it.
All right, don't give me no spoilers, man.
And then the week before that, there was a cage match.
See, that's the beauty about, like, between Lucha Underground or even, like, New Japan or NXT, they're only, like, an hour long. So, like, if you're like...
New Japan's not an hour long, are you kidding me?
No, the access stuff.
Well, yeah, but... I'm saying, like, their shows are, like, 4 hours long.
No, but I'm not talking about their shows. I'm talking about, like, the catching up. Because I'm catching up, you know. I'm not, like... I'm a newbie to this, you know what I'm saying? I ain't going to try to front.
Well, it's impossible to ever catch up on New Japan fully because they're always doing stuff.
I'm talking about the access stuff, bro.
No, I know.
Yeah, like, I'm catching up on that. You know, I just saw the Naito versus Okada from, like, 2 years ago or something like that. So, you know...
Wrestle Kingdom 7.
Huh?
Wrestle Kingdom 7, I think that was.
No, I don't think that was a Kingdom. I think that was just...
it was.
All right. I don't remember... I don't recall them calling it Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, because Naito... Well, it was shown on Access, but the Access TV show.
Uh-huh.
But Naito won the G1 Climax that year.
Yes,
and the G1 Climax winner gets a shot at the belt.
Okay.
And at that time, it was Okada.
Okay.
Was the champion.
Okay. All right. So I just saw that one. And
Okay.
so, catch it
I
up.
think that's the last one I saw too.
Okay. So I guess the point I was making is you take these shows, the shows, whether it's an access, to catch up, or, uh-oh. It looks like I'm on hold, folks.
Sorry about that.
Hey, it's all good.
Someone just tried to call me from a state that I'm not even in, so.
Oh, that's what's up. But
Not really.
I guess the point I was making is you take those 3 shows and they all run an hour long. I don't catch them live, so I'm normally catching them on upload. So you're talking 45 minutes.
I don't get the channel, so I have to catch them on.
Yes, so 45 minutes. If you miss 1 or 2 episodes, or even them, you can actually sit down and catch up with them without being overwhelmed. Say like
the same with Lucha Underground.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lucha Underground. You take Lucha Underground, NXT, or New Japan on Access.
Ring of Honor is the same way too.
Yeah, like you can. You're not so overwhelmed. Say like
as long as it's not Raw.
SmackDown or Raw, dude. If you're 2 weeks behind, you may as well just fuck the one before.
Dude, I work on Thursday, so I don't even get to see SmackDown. I mean, I've been home the last 2 Thursdays, so I got to see it, but I don't even go back and watch it because I don't care.
Well,
like when it was on Fridays, it's like I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like, there's no point in watching this.
Well,
and
I'm watching it now because I'm reviewing it.
Oh, okay. Well, they said that they were gonna, when they moved to Thursday, that they were gonna make it seem important again, and they're not doing that.
I think
at all
of that is going to be hinged on what happens with the ladder match. Like, I think the future of SmackDown is all after WrestleMania because they gotta I think the IC belt is going to be the main belt for that show because it's not gonna be a brand split up, but I think it's gonna be like sort of a semi split up. And if you remember, when it was all said and done that Bryan basically wasn't going to win the Rumble, he wanted to take on SmackDown as like his show, and he wanted to help build it up and gain popularity. And I think with the Intercontinental belt up for grabs at WrestleMania in the ladder match, I think it's really set for him to basically carry the IC belt and be the face of SmackDown. And then they move from there because they got the pieces. They really do got some good pieces there.
Fair enough.
If focusing on SmackDown, so
I'm not a huge fan of it, but fair enough.
Yeah, because it's the first time that I did the review. I had a little gripe about the reason why I didn't watch it in the first place, and that was a lot of the rewinds and.
Plus, not to interrupt you, but all the stuff that they there was a 6-man that they did on SmackDown a couple weeks ago, or it was last Thursday, and then they decided to redo the match on Raw this past Monday. So it's like all the matches that I want to see on SmackDown end up happening on Raw the next Monday anyway, so it's like, why am I even wasting my time?
Yeah, they did both the 6-man tag team and the Miz versus Ryback.
Well, the Miz versus Ryback, I don't care because the Miz is terrible and
that's not the point I was making. I was just saying the fact.
No, I know, but
they always, and it's always Ryback. Honestly, I think Ryback has the most shows, the most fights that are on SmackDown, and then again on Raw than anyone on the roster.
Probably.
It's almost a given. If he has a match on Raw, 9 times out of 10 he's gonna have it on SmackDown. But again, this is my second week doing it, so a lot hasn't changed. I see the direction that they're going, but definitely it's gonna boil down to after this ladder match. And that's, you look at those guys. You look at Wade Barrett. You look at Dolph Ziggler. You look at Dean Ambrose. You look at Stardust. I think because those guys don't really get the time on Raw that they deserve, and I think SmackDown is going to be that place for them. And if they could just have a decent enough feud between the 3 of them, interchangeable throughout, the next couple.
Wait a minute. You said Stardust. You said Dean Ambrose, and who was the third guy you mentioned?
Ziggler. Like basically,
Okay.
all the guys in the ladder match are going to be the faces of SmackDown.
And out of those three guys you mentioned, I only care about one of them.
Stardust.
No, Ziggler. Have you seen my tweets? You should know by now that I hate Stardust.
I tune out your hater ass tweets on Stardust, dude.
And Dean Ambrose, I could care less.
Well, they did a shitty job. They're doing a shitty. Again, we gotta be patient, dude. I think just if they fuck up after WrestleMania, then yeah, then we have time to bitch. But I think this is setting up.
Ever since that exploding TV, I can't take the guy seriously.
Well, that's not his fault. The fucking TV exploded.
I know it's not his fault, but it's not good.
Okay. So check this out. Let's start off. You said you wrote some stuff down, so let's start off.
Well, I only wrote one thing down that I thought of off the top of my head.
Then let's because here's the thing. Do we want to kick off talking about the build to WrestleMania? I have just say the Sting, Brock, Cena, and Taker build up towards Mania, or do you want to start with what you want to say?
Well, what I want to say isn't because. I'll just mention it right now so you know what I'm going to talk about. There's this video that's been going around the internet called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. Have you seen it or have you heard about it?
No.
It's a bunch of women. Max Landis did it. And it's a bunch of women
Who's
dressed
Max Landis?
up as I believe he's a stand-up comedian. So... But it's a bunch of women dressed as wrestlers, and they do this whole skit about like how WWE came to prominence with the Attitude Era, and basically talked about the entire. It's like a revisionist history in like the span of 26 minutes. Okay, and it's got like characters like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chris Benoit, even though I hate mentioning his name, Daniel Bryan, like they cover everything within the span that they can within the span of 26 minutes. But what I want to talk about is, and if after this, go watch it because you need to see it to know what I'm talking about.
Well, after this, I have to finish this podcast with you.
Well, no, I'm saying after we're off the air. That's what I mean.
I hear you. I'm fucking with you.
Jerk. But after this, go watch it because you'll know what I'm talking about. But WWE is trying to get it removed from the internet because they do not like it.
Boo fucking who?
Huh?
I said boo fucking who?
I know, but I just saw that as I left Twitter to come on the air to talk to you. So, but I wanted to know if you had heard about it and or seen it, which you just said you didn't.
Yeah.
But with that whole aspect of they're trying to get it taken down, which I don't like because it's almost like they're discouraging freedom of speech. Especially with this last week on Raw, there was 4 guys who came dressed in costumes that were sitting in the front row. I don't know if you heard about this, but they were told to either give up their front row seats or to change their shirts. And they ended up changing out of their costumes and putting on crappy free t-shirts that the WWE gave them.
Oh, wow. I know that. But, I mean, we know the history of the WWE trying to control what's on the hard camera. We know that. But when you're talking about, like, viral video and, like, things that are on the internet, that's a whole new realm because I've never heard of them. I mean, if you're posting their stuff, I mean, that's licensing and copyright infringement. So they have every right to take that shit down. But if you're talking about, like, a group of people and they're creating, like, content for the web, because it could be fights, it could be murder, you know what I'm saying? It could be anything. I mean, that's just content around it's content that's posted on the internet. Now, the murder part or like, assault would be a bit much, but for the most part, when you're just talking content in general, no one has the right to tell you to take some shit down because they don't agree with it. I mean, that's dumb. I mean, it's just freedom of speech, my ass. Like, I think it has everything to just do with, like, who are you to tell me to take my shit down? It boils back to, say, Danger Mouse when he had a run in with the Beatles. It's like, what do you mean take this down? Or I can't do this. I can do what I want. I made this.
Yeah.
It's a collage of your stuff, but like I'm not selling this. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not selling this.
Yeah, exactly. It was free. They weren't trying. I mean, I understand like WWE trying to get it taken down because they were using names and stuff that the WWE has intellectual rights to.
Yeah.
But they weren't. This was a YouTube video. They weren't trying to make money off of this.
Now, say if it comes up to like, it gets enough hits to where YouTube wants to throw ads on it, but it's on them to say, no, I don't want a partnership with you. If they don't do a partnership.
Well, YouTube already has ads though. So if you don't want ads, then you have to charge for a pay service through YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So that like ads aren't an issue because the video will always have an ad, like because you know how when you open a YouTube video you always get at least a 15-second 30-second ad before you watch whatever the hell it is that you're going to watch.
Then how about this?
So that's not an issue.
So how about this? YouTube's making the money, but not the content providers. You see what I'm saying?
That's correct.
Now, if they have an issue with anyone, they should take it up with YouTube for marketing basically off of the success of that video versus the people who aren't collecting any revenue from it. It's just
but like that's even weird too because YouTube, they just post the video and then put their bumpers at the front and the back of it. They don't have anything to do with the content.
Yeah, exactly. But if it's generating hits, they will use those hits and try to post things to market from. So, I mean,
this video is huge. So
yeah. So to sum it up, I would say it's dumb for the WWE. I can hear Vince now. God damn it! The only people that create revisionist
you don't like
history.
what you like.
Yeah, any revisionist history of our product is me. God damn it.
They have their own network where they do revisionist history.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, who are you? It's like whenever someone talks about someone getting buried, I just see like Triple H pop up. It's like, I'm the only one that buries people, damn it.
See, and I hate that because whenever someone loses a match and they say that, you'll go on Twitter and automatically you'll see like 5 or 6 people saying so-and-so got buried. People don't understand in a wrestling context what buried means, because in order to be buried, it means that they do not use you. It's like Zack Ryder.
Yeah, they get you off TV.
A good example of being buried, because you never see that guy. Only if you watch Superstars.
It was a funny conversation that I had with Jake. He was talking, because his dad was a wrestler.
Yeah.
And it was just like, man, I think he was talking about Daniel Bryan, and he was like, man, Daniel Bryan's getting buried. His dad was like, is he on TV?
Yeah, exactly.
He's doing all right then. It's like he just completely wrote it off. It's just like, dude, you have to understand what Barrett, but doing the job is a whole different other thing. If he did the job,
it's like someone loses one, like they go on a huge winning streak, and then they lose one match, or get thrown out of the Royal Rumble in a shitty way, kind of like Daniel Bryan did. People were like, "Oh, he just got buried." No, he didn't.
No, that's all.
Something happened to him you didn't like, but he didn't get buried. So get over yourself, you idiots.
Yeah. So basically, like to sum this part up, I think WWE's in a battle that they can't win if they're trying to get that shit taken down. YouTube is bigger than the WWE. So if they want that shit on their server, and they want to generate the hits and get promotions on it, I mean, if anything, I would suggest those people who made the video to get a partnership so where they can actually make money off of it. Because I can see YouTube lawyers walking into a courtroom, and I can see WWE lawyers walking into a courtroom, and I don't see the WWE lawyers. I see the looks on their faces like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Let's get the fuck out of here. Are you nuts?
Yep.
You see those guys over there? Yeah. No contest. We're out of here. So, yeah. But check this shit out, right? So, the road to WrestleMania. And I will start with last Monday Night Raw, the ending. And I don't know whether the backlash from the package that he got from 2 weeks prior, Sting, with the voice. I still think it's Keith David because you go back and listen to it. It sounds like Keith David, the narrator for the the Monday Night Wars series.
Who's also the narrator for like stuff on the History Channel.
Yeah, that guy. That's who it sounds like. Do you not agree?
I know it's not Sting, but I don't know who it is. A lot of people thought that and I've seen people say that it sounded like Sting with a voice modulator.
Yeah, that's
dumb. It doesn't sound like him at all.
Why would Sting even agree to have a voice modulator on his voice?
Unless because they're going with this whole silent assassin thing, so maybe that's why they did it. But then they went on this last Monday's Raw after the show. They had Sting talk for the first time on the network.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm making. Now, I can understand if he went like an anonymous way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was like if that package, the voice in there was like on some like digitized sort of stuff. But no, it was clear as day. And it was very majestic. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And I am here to... It's like, no, that was... If you listen, go back and just check out some of the WCW, the Monday Night War series, and then go back and listen to that. And I swear to God, no one's talking about it. I'm just like, it's clear as day that this is Keith David. Clear as day.
That wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Yeah, clear as day. And so he gets out there, and he... Basically, because I didn't... If you listen to Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, at the end of when we get to the main event and then the ending, I really thought that Sting wasn't going to show up. It seemed ideal that he would show up, but I was like, the way he's showing up, and then he shows up. I'm thinking Randy Orton's going to swerve our ass and hit him with the chair because he never puts the chair down. But they go after they clear out house. They say go to the network, which I think is pretty cool, like exclusive shit for the network. That's going to be their niche. Please continue doing special shit like that. Yeah,
that's their main selling point.
Yeah, please.
When the network first launched, it's like, well, they have all this stuff, but they don't have anything that's like exclusive.
Yeah, so I was glad they used it that way. But he gets out there and he cuts like, a good 25-second promo, and he said what he had to say, and I swear to God, my interest level from just 1 week ago to now to the match between him and Triple H has tripled. No pun intended. But
this match
it's quadrupled.
Is the one I'm most looking forward to.
It quadrupled, man. And
yeah.
it was something that simple. Very simple. What are your thoughts? Because we're not going to be able to do. I guess you're going to do your WrestleMania predictions for your show, but let's just go ahead and just say, who do you think's going to win this, man?
Honestly, I don't know, but what I will say is, I want Sting to win it because he almost has to. The reason why is because he's never had a match in WWE. He has to win this match. There's no other way around it. Plus, if the rumors are being true or are true, and I keep hearing that they want to do this match next year, possibly, Sting versus The Undertaker, WrestleMania 32 in Texas. That would mean that both Bray Wyatt or both The Undertaker wins, or The Undertaker would have to beat Bray Wyatt. Sting would have to beat Triple H. If any one of those guys does not win, say The Undertaker loses to Bray Wyatt, and Sting still wins, beats Triple H, that match is not going to happen. So I
beg to differ. I don't think.
Why?
I don't think Sting. I think Sting has to win, but I don't necessarily think Undertaker has to win.
See, and this is my main gripe with it. Taker lost last year, okay?
Yeah.
If he loses again, what is the point of him ever coming back?
Well,
I'm already to the point where there's no streak. I don't care about his match with Bray at all. I'm sorry to say it.
Out of the majors, you know, say take the top 4 storylines. This is my least on it. But I'm
storyline wise, it's been great.
I think what I'm looking for most out of this match is how Bray Wyatt is going. I'm looking forward to not looking forward to, but I'm most interested in how Bray Wyatt will perform in this match. Because this is one of the first times we spoke about, and I was saying pedigree. Like, is his pedigree going to kick in? And is he going to be able to carry this match in a way that it's really going to set the tone for the rest of his career, basically, right? Do you agree?
I agree with that part of it. But I don't.
The idea of very much, and this is about Sting, because I don't want to go too far away from Sting, because I still want your. We'll get there. We'll definitely get to Taker, all right? And then I'll re-explain what I had to say, all right? So, I see Sting winning this.
Okay.
And yes, I see him going on to face The Undertaker in next year's WrestleMania. But the biggest mistake between Rock and Cena, say the first time around, they set it up a year in advance. And I think it really undercut the card. You know, I guess we're all sitting back waiting to see what happens for Mania. But I hope that no remnants of him going after Taker or Taker going after him is not even mentioned until the Royal Rumble. You see what I'm saying?
I don't think they're going to do that. If they do this match, I guarantee you they will announce it at WrestleMania 31.
See, it undercuts the card, man.
They have to.
It undercuts
this match. If this match happens, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's going to be really huge. But
yeah.
But then you still have to build suspense to a certain degree. If you know it's coming at you, you're least likely to tune in. You're just going to basically like tune out and just wait for it to show up, because it's not like those guys are going to be wrestling during the year, you know? It's just like, you see what I'm saying? Like, say even if Sting fought 4 matches, like on his way, like the Big 4, like he showed up at SummerSlam, he showed up for the Royal Rumble, so, you know, Survivor Series. But Taker's not going to wrestle. So unless those 2 guys were like active, then I would say yes. Say, you know.
See, and I disagree. Still.
Okay. But if they were active, yes, I would say yes. Promote it as early as you can. But for the fact that they're not, I think it should be held off. The notion of it.
But what I was going to say is the fact that they're not active almost works in their favor, because all they have to do, no matter who goes on first, whether it's Taker or Sting, if Taker goes on after Sting, then have Sting come out after Taker wins, presumably, have them face off, point at the WrestleMania sign, and then that sets their match for next year. We don't need to see them for another year.
Yeah.
They literally don't have to do anything for a year. All they need to do is the WWE people need to actually work their ass off on promoting a match.
Mm-hmm.
And getting it over. Because if you announce that match, and I'll tell you this, I don't want to see that match at all. I have zero interest in it. But it keeps getting thrown around, so I'm almost entertaining the idea, okay, what if it does happen? The vignettes will be great, yes. The match, once the bell rings, is not going to be any good. But because, and plus today is Sting's birthday, he's now like 57, 58 years old.
He looks great, though.
Yeah, well, aside from his Bruce Jenner haircut, he looks phenomenal. But time is not on their side, and I think, like I said, I think the vignettes will be great. The lead-ups to the match will be great. Once the match rings, or once the bell rings for the match to start, I lost interest because I just don't care about the match, because you would have two guys in the ring that combined age, and you'll have this at WrestleMania 31, even with Triple H in there. Combined age, their age is over 100.
Awesome.
And, well, it depends which way you look at it.
Well,
with a company
we're
that
not
pushes
talking about we're not talking about like normal Joes. We're talking about guys who, in the best case scenario, are in better shape than the average 50-year-old. All right. I mean, other than, say, like surgeries because of the rough and tumble career that is wrestling, they're still built like not a normal 50-year-old. I mean, if my dad and your dad got in the ring, then yes, it's going to suck. But
I would pay to see it, though.
But even dinged up, these guys are still athletes. So, if anything, we want to see the story told. I don't want. It's not necessarily them jumping off the top rope and flying across the ring. I think for the most part, the future of this match, and for all fans who are waiting for it, what story is going to be told for this? And through the vignettes and the promos, and then when they get into the ring, how is the story going to be told?
Honestly, I don't think the match would be much, to be honest. I think what it will be, if it does happen, they get in the ring, they hit all their signature spots, boom, done. I don't know who's going to win.
I think it's going to be greater than that.
Will probably win.
I think you're being way too cynical about this. I think you're not taking into consideration that these are two great performers. Maybe you should give them a little more credit.
A great performer anymore.
Huh?
Undertaker to me isn't a great performer anymore.
But, dude, I don't know. As an ex-athlete, a person who watches sports, there's these things called rising to the occasion, and he still has it in him. If it's just one more time, he has it in him. So I
hope you're right.
I'm not gonna write it off. I'm not gonna dismiss it. And you can do what you want, and maybe I sound a little like abrasive, but I think you need to change your idea about this just a little slightly, because you're not giving those two men the benefit of the doubt, and then individually, and then the idea of them being in the ring together. I mean, they're professionals. They'll probably go over what they're going to do for the match, and they're going to be able to, because
that's another problem I have with the match.
But let's move on, all right? Because we done knocked down Taker and Sting.
I want to ask, are we still talking about WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Because I want to ask you personally what you think, and you don't have to answer it now, and if you want to save it for further down the conversation, we can. But what match do you think is going to main event the show?
Oh, obviously it's going to be Brock and Reigns.
I don't know if it's going to be, to be honest. I think it's going to be Sting Triple H, honestly. I don't think they have full confidence in Roman Reigns to be able to carry a main event by himself when Brock is there too, but let's face it, Brock doesn't really carry main events that well. or matches in general that well because he just beats the crap out of people.
He gives a different perspective of an in-ring performance. I think I don't know. You're looking at it from the glass half full, half empty. I'm looking at it from the glass half full. I think what Brock does in the ring, what sets him apart since he's been back, is that he gives. It's basically like a shoot match, and it's so against what we're used to as WWE fans. The last couple of main events he was in, I thought he delivered amazingly for what he was. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I totally agree.
Presenting. I can't go into this thinking that this is going to be like just this dog match. I think it's going to main event. It is the future face of the company versus the biggest athlete. I mean, I would say, if you go down the line of like the Mayweathers and the Ronaldos and things of that nature, Brock Lesnar is up there. He is.
Yeah.
He's in that top 10 tier of athletes in the world. So there's no way in hell, because they're trying to present this as a big fight field. I mean, his last promo from package of him talking when he said, "I'm gonna fuck Roman Reigns up."
Yeah,
it does give it a big fight feel. No other wrestler on the roster can do that right now. And
true.
And he is the moneymaker. He's getting paid, in terms of, for his existence, he's probably getting paid more than anyone on the roster. So they're gonna throw his ass out there last.
He makes $5 million a year.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome for him.
So they're gonna get 3 years that he's done. He will have made $15 million.
So they're gonna get their money's worth, and they're not gonna put his ass, after after the ladder match by any means.
See, I agree with you there, but I'm also thinking that Brock Lesnar, I don't know if he's re-signing yet or not. We'll have to wait and see.
But that's the intrigue of it all.
Granted, this match isn't happening in Madison Square Garden, akin to where he left last time.
Uh-huh.
But if you remember in Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania 20, his match with Goldberg, nobody gave that match a chance because they knew that both guys were leaving. So they just shat all over it.
But here's the thing, bro. Brock from WrestleMania 20 to Brock now are two different animals, man.
No, I agree. But I'm just saying, I don't know. And with the hostility towards Reigns, we might be looking at another Brock Goldberg situation. Not quite as heavy because it's not in New York, but it could lead that way where the fans just don't care.
Do you think that's more wishful thinking on your behalf, or do you?
No, I think it's an honest concern.
I don't think so.
If that match is the main event, honestly, I'm going to shut the show off because I don't care about that match.
I think, for the most part, I think the location for it being in San Francisco, Santa
Clara.
Huh? California? What city?
Santa Clara.
Santa Clara. I think it's going to be a whole different dynamic of fans there. There could be some fans there very, very happy to see both of those guys in person, for one. Because we're not dealing with New York marks. We're dealing with like a worldwide event. So you got people from all parts of the world who want to see Brock Lesnar in person, who want to see Roman Reigns in person, who are also intrigued by the drama of the Brock Lesnar contract situation. This is what I was talking to about Jake. It's out of the entire card, whether it's Sting, Triple H, whether it's Cena, Rusev, or Taker, Wyatt, is probably the one with the hugest unknown attached to it than anything on the card, or than any main event in WrestleMania history to a certain extent. There's so many variables. There's so many levels that we're going to sit there and watch it unfold. You know, we're not going to watch a match per se. We're going to watch something, a situation unfold in front of us. And I'm pretty fucking excited to witness what happens. You know, you see why I'm excited about it? Do you agree?
I agree, kind of, but it's like I don't care about the match.
No,
I never. When Roman Reigns won the Rumble, it's like, okay, I get it, he's your guy, but it's like I don't care about the match.
Who you got winning?
Who I have winning? Roman Reigns.
I got Brock winning.
I have Roman Reigns winning 90%.
Well,
10% of my brain says that Brock could win, but then it's like my heart wants Brock, my brain says
brains. That sounds like a shirt.
Yeah. So
my heart says Brock, my brain says Reigns.
Yeah. Hilarious. But yeah, I'm 90% sure that Roman Reigns is going to win.
I am 1,000% sure that Brock Lesnar is going to win. The only thing that
I hope you're right.
Something that I was paid, you know, it's always about attention to detail sometimes. This is when the WWE gets good, you know, because sometimes they can slip in something where, like, it's just a little attention to detail, and you can maybe forget about it, and some people will, and you expect it, this, that, and the other. The only way I see Roman Reigns winning if next week they talk about Brock Lesnar's broken rib, or per se, or him healing from reeling. Obviously, he would have healed up by now, but if he's still reeling from the effects of Seth Rollins dropping that super elbow on him on the Spanish announce table, because they ran with that little stab of information for like a good 4 weeks afterwards, right?
Sure.
I broke Brock Lesnar's rib. You know, it'll come up. That'd be the only thing. If they mention that next week somehow, whether it's Michael Cole, whether it's Seth Rollins somehow, like, you know, just somebody talks about that, then yes, then Roman Reigns will win, because that's going to be the Achilles heel of the evening. Other than that, if they don't bring that shit up, dude, it's going to be a massacre. What he's going to do to Roman Reigns is going to be worse than he did to Cena.
I don't think they're going to go that far, because they want you to see Roman Reigns as their next star.
Yeah.
If he doesn't win the belt this year, he'll win it next year.
But don't you think it could be like a sympathy? Because he ain't Jack Swagger now. Like, you know, when he got his ass handed by Rusev, we felt a little sorry for him and wanted to see him like be victorious when he kept coming back up. But like, this is Roman Reigns, and it's one thing to make him strong. It's another thing to have him connect with the people. You see what I'm saying? Him losing in a very, very, because he's it's not me or you in the ring with Roman Reigns.
Sympathy heat.
Yeah. You know, basically transfer whatever sympathy heat from Bryan that's gone to Reigns. Now, again, it's not me and you in the ring with Roman Reigns. It's Brock Lesnar. You know, you still have to factor in the magnitude of that guy, and that he has merit. Everything from NCAA to strong style New Japan to like UFC. You know, he's one of a kind, man, and there's no shame. It's like last night, if you're keeping up with the March Madness, it's like Hampton losing to Kentucky. You know, it's like, you know what? It's a bit of an honor to actually be on the same floor as them. You know, if those guys go off to be big NBA stars, those guys from Hampton can be like, you know what? I was on the same floor with those guys. You know, I'm one of very few people that can say that they were on the floor or held or blocked a shot or scored a basket or fouled those guys. The same with Reigns. There's no shame in having your ass handed to you by Brock Lesnar. It's Brock Lesnar. everyone's gonna understand. No one's gonna be like, "Oh, Roman Reigns, we thought you could do it. You can, you will." No one's gonna wag their finger. They'd be like, "Oh, but it's Brock Lesnar."
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. That's the only way I see him, and he's gonna connect with the people after he have his ass handed to him. And I feel, and this is like down the line because Brock's not leaving. Cena's gonna beat Brock Lesnar. Cena's gonna take that belt back, and then Roman Reigns is gonna defeat Cena.
I could see that happening. One thing I wanted to say is I really hope you're right with this whole scenario, because after what Brock did last year when he broke the streak, and I've heard this said a million times, or not a million times, but a bunch of times on a bunch of different podcasts, and I agree with it. Having Brock Lesnar lose his first match the year after, at Mania, the year after he broke the streak, would be a huge disservice to Brock Lesnar.
And it's also parallel to your idea of the Taker. Both Brock's win-loss or Taker's win-loss, they're damn near parallel to the next match that he should go into. As much as you say Taker needs to win this, it's just about as much as, if not more, for Brock Lesnar to win this.
I was going to say this. I know, well, it all depends what Taker wants to do next year. I know that I've heard rumors that he wants to retire in Texas, which is next year.
He wants to get that check, too.
Yeah, whether or not they do Taker Sting, if they end up not doing that, they could also do Taker Brock 2 and have Taker win and avenge his loss from WrestleMania 30.
Hey, man, I don't think that's a Sankofa moment. You
don't think it's a what moment?
Sankofa. A Sankofa is a bird. It's a bird that flies forward and looks back.
Okay.
It's the only bird that can do that. This is not a moment for that. I don't think there's no reason for Taker to face Brock Lesnar ever again.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it's in the back of my mind that it's something they could want to do. But that's like 5% of that's like only 5% of my thinking is going into that. Meaning that I don't think it's going to happen.
As soon as it was over, the last thing on my mind...
It's a scenario that could happen.
Honestly, this is the first time I've even thought of the idea of them, or even getting an inclination for someone saying of a rematch. Like, I think everyone's on the same accord with this. It's like, dude, we saw it, and why does he have to fight him again? I think, if anything, it's just one of those things that just needs to be left alone. And Taker, again, being that his days are numbered.
And that he just turned 50.
Yeah. How about this?
March 24th.
Let me ask you this one question. How do you feel about the idea, does Taker show up next week or not? Because they're saying that he's not going to show up at all.
No.
That sucks, dude. That's real. That's some bullshit.
I agree with you, because with the streak, you always had Undertaker's matches. You didn't have to do anything. You saw the match at WrestleMania 27, how they built that up between Triple H and Taker. All they had to do was have them come in the ring together and stare at each other and then stare off to the WrestleMania side.
That's it, dude.
They did the exact same thing the next year to build to the Hell in a Cell match, and plus a few other things in between that and Mania. This year, it's really doing a disservice having The Undertaker not being there, because he doesn't have the streak anymore.
You know what I think it is? Because this is post streak Taker. But you know what I think it is?
Yeah.
Out of it all, they don't know. I think all the writers and Vince and all those guys,
they know. If they didn't know, they wouldn't book the match.
No. They don't know. They wouldn't know what to do with him if he was to show up. I think bottom line is like, they would much rather not ruin it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like the idea of Sting and them just going like, well, let's take a chance with Sting talking, because I think at first they were like, well, we're better off not doing it so we won't ruin it.
Well, plus he's Batman, so that would go against his gimmick.
Oh, what? Who?
Sting being Batman, because they call him the vigilante all the time, and it irritates me.
Well, it's better than the painted face goof.
The Joker Sting? Yeah, that was terrible.
Well, that's what Triple H was calling him after Survivor Series.
Yeah.
The painted face goof. And I think that went like for 3 weeks, and then they let it go. I was just like, that boiled me. I was like, what are you doing, man? Are you stupid? Yeah. But basically, okay, so the American Badass shows up at WrestleMania. Do you pop or do you boo? Or do you turn off the television?
I boo. They wouldn't do that because they'd never, if you notice the streak, throughout the streak after he became the dead man again at WrestleMania 20, they do not mention
I know.
the American Badass.
I know. But here's the thing, bro.
Hold on. When Triple H and Undertaker wrestled each other at WrestleMania 27, they did not mention the American Badass.
No, not at all.
They did not make mention of their match at WrestleMania 17. And I think out of the 3 matches they had, dare I say it, their WrestleMania 17 match was my favorite. Not the best, but it was my favorite out of the 3.
But here's the thing, right? Now, I know, like, Vince McMahon, it's very known that Vince McMahon, what he thinks of the American Badass, he doesn't think of it at all. It never existed. To Vince's, in Vince's eyes, right? So, but whenever that goddamn Dave Meltzer starts to talking, and he starts bringing up stuff, the guy has a good track record, right? And all the things that we even, like last year, like Dave Meltzer, Cena versus Bray Wyatt. What? No way. What we get last year.
Yeah.
Dave Meltzer, Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker. No way. What we got happening? He also said there's a chance that he may return as the American Badass. Now, I'm not one for, I'm not one for like, shaking the magic 8 ball and trying to come up with like something that makes sense. But this guy has a good fucking his streak is, speaking of a streak, his streak is pretty fucking good in terms of what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. If it's leaving his mouth, there's a good chance that it's going to happen. Now, I don't expect it to happen, but knowing that it came from his mouth, I'm going to keep it in mind.
Okay.
I'm not going to dismiss it. It's just, I'm just not. I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson, like the rest of us. So, okay. I guess the only thing left to talk about is the Cena Rusev thing. And how do you feel about this build so far? Did you watch Monday night? That was dumb. That was probably it was an egg.
Yeah, it was awful. They didn't have Lana because she was off doing a movie. Which I wish they would knock it off with the WWE films, because I have no interest in ever seeing any of those, and there's no point. But plus it only takes like legit 2 days to film those things because they suck. But having Lana not being there is one thing, but having some guy show up in place of Lana was just dumb.
You hear that?
No one.
You hear that? That guy sounds like he's from Dallas. That was funny.
The first thing that, I don't know if you were on Twitter on Monday.
No, I didn't get to see it live.
But when I was watching live, I went on Twitter, and about 10 people in a row on my timeline said, "Did Lana get a sex change?" That was the very first thing that people were thinking, which to me says that they did not take the entire thing seriously.
Well,
And
you also realize the merit of Lana, how much she means to that entire gimmick.
yeah, without her, the gimmick is nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
Without her, Rusev is a face.
Well, I spoke with Jake Wednesday about the idea of, well, let's just see, because she's going to come back, but I like to see him stand on his own, I think just as this guy, like, test the waters to see if he can actually stand on his own. Like, if he walks down the WrestleMania ramp without Lana, it will intrigue me.
Okay.
It would just intrigue me. He doesn't have to do whatever again, throw Lana back, but I would like to see him walk out there alone. That's all. Who wins this match?
And then CJ Perry can come back in a red, white, blue bikini and join Cena in his corner.
Yeah, basically.
That was a joke. I saw somebody mention that on Monday too.
This is the what is this? This is the CJ Perry is who? That's the
That's Lana.
Oh, that's her
CJ
name.
Perry is Lana's real name.
I didn't know that. I went to high school with a girl named CJ Perry, who I'm friends with on Facebook. We go back and forth now, but her name's CJ Perry. But nevertheless, who do you see winning this?
Cena. Sadly, I hate to say that. And if he wins, I really want him to bring back the spinner belt. So
okay, so if I was to give my prediction, and then we're gonna move on, there's maybe 3 more things I want to touch on about Mania. We'll do a quick jab of the rest of the stuff that I see with Mania. I see Cena losing because I don't see him wearing that belt. I just don't see it. It's just not gonna happen. But you know what I do see though?
What?
He loses and he snaps.
Okay.
Because I think Rusev probably tries to, get a cheap shot in somehow. I mean, the ref's going to get knocked out. I think this is going to be the match where the ref gets knocked out. Say unless Triple H knocks out the ref doing the Sting match to try to,
I don't know. I think the Sting match is going to be way overbooked. In order to hide Sting's flaws, they're going to have to overbook the hell out of that match.
But I only brought that because Triple H has, since he's been the COO, there's been times where he's actually knocked out the ref, right? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't want it, it's like the distraction roll-up that they overuse. You don't want the ref to catch a bump twice in one night. I see the ref catching a bump. Not in this. It could happen with the Triple H. It's a toss-up between those two. But I see it more so now with Rusev and Cena. Because I feel like, dude, actually, it's actually not over either one. Because I see Triple H doing any and everything possible to beat Sting. So I see him knocking out the ref. But I could
actually see a ref bumping Bray Taker, but that's just me.
I don't see. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for anyone to be dirty.
There is, if you think about it, but it's way too far-fetched, and I'm not even going to mention it.
Okay. Well, we'll mention it. We may end up talking next week. But check this shit out. I see Cena getting really upset that Rusev is trying to take a cheap shot. I mean, that he got over on him again with a cheap shot. And he loses it. He just destroys him.
Okay.
And we see a new Cena. Now, we never want to discuss the idea of him turning heel. We never want to talk about that. But if you've been keeping up with what's been happening with him and Brock Lesnar and all this stuff, not necessarily the heel turn, but him going into a part of Cena that we've never really seen before, a very ruthless Cena. Now we've seen him doing some gimmicky shit and show no mercy, like AA and Batista off of a car through the floor, and we've seen him throw stairs right at Bray Wyatt, but
Yep.
him locking Rusev up 2 Mondays ago was something that we've never really seen before with Cena. This kind of ruthlessness from him. I don't want to say ruthless aggression, but like ruthlessness, and the way that he got up and the look that he had on his face. And I think it's gonna come over to Mania, and once he loses, because he's not gonna get that belt again. That belt is not going on his body by any means.
Yeah, it is.
He's gonna flip. He's gonna flip.
I like the scenario that you're presenting, but it's kind of like the Reigns match. 95% of me says that if you think that Cena isn't winning, and that this entire streak was set up so that Cena is the one to break it, then you're crazy. Because
Cena's not an afterthought. Sorry, I apologize.
They've been leading to me. They've created this whole streak, and no one's broken it. If Cena doesn't break this streak, who does? And there's only one other person I could see breaking it, and it wouldn't make any sense to me.
But I hate the discussion of someone having to break that streak. Why can't he just be Rusev? He's undefeated.
Because streaks were meant to be broken. Look at Goldberg's streak. Look at Undertaker's WrestleMania streak.
Have you noticed they never address like whether Cole or JBL, they never address Rusev's undefeated streak as a streak. They don't even use that word.
They don't use the word, but they imply it by saying that he's never been pinned.
I know, but I'm just saying they stay so far away from that word. They stay so far away from it because
because I think they only wanted to ever associate that word with one guy.
Well, it's only associated with two, though. Like when you say streak, you have two, maybe three people in mind. Undertaker, WrestleManias, Goldberg, WCW, and Kurt Angle. Loosely, when he first came in, he was undefeated until Taz.
I don't see his run of wins as a streak.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Because they never referred to it as that.
But in general, like that's as close as it gets. You know, they tried to do a streak thing with Kazarian, I think, on TNA, but like that was stupid.
Well, and they did one with R.D. Evans, in Ring of Honor, and he lost at 100. He was at it was a kayfabe streak apparently.
With Moose?
I mean, he won all his matches.
With
But
Moose?
yeah, Moose beat him. But he was 173-0 when he won, or when he went into that match, and then he came out of it 173-1. They did that on purpose because Goldberg's streak ended at 173-1.
Oh.
And it was super funny to me.
You know, these it's funny because that's just an example of the independent promotions being a bunch of fucking marks. Sometimes, like, they're marks. You think that they're so against like the WWE and stuff, but they're just as big of marks as say us, who watch the WWE product. And it's things like that remind me, is like, they're not so far away from being fans of that product at all. And like, I feel like that's the entire Bullet Club for the most part,
The Bullet Club sucks.
Oh God. Okay, that's for another podcast. All right. All right. But
I'm sorry, they're terrible.
That's cool. But that's for another podcast. But Bo Dallas, that was a pretty funny streak. Only to lose it to R-Truth. But again,
wasted.
Cena is still a valuable asset. That's the only thing I'm going on. And I want to do a video, actual like special commentary on the fact that people think Cena is like this afterthought or anything like that. He's still John Cena, regardless wherever he is on the card. He could be on the pre-show. He's still Cena. He's still a valuable asset to Vince and to the WWE product. So
he's just transitioned to gatekeeper now.
Well, he's about to transition his ass back up to the main card, to the main event, and it's going to be him and Brock.
He's still going to be even if he's in the main event, he's still going to be a gatekeeper.
How about this? And you know what? It's what is this? It's March 20th. I'm gonna get my time hop on, right? Next year. I'll probably forget I even said this, but I hope when I post this and this shows up on time hop of my, what I post to social media.
Yeah.
We have WrestleMania 32 for the World Heavyweight Championship. John Cena versus Roman Reigns. And Cena is holding the belt.
I could see that happening. I think they should have done that this year, to be honest.
So, all right. I'm on record.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And Cena's going to be healed. It's going to be that one time. It's not wishful thinking.
I don't think Cena's ever going to wrestle heel. I think your thinking is very wishful.
How about ruthless? He's going to ditch, not heel, but he's going to ditch the happy-go-lucky all-American thing, and he's going to be a badass. How about that? Does that sound better?
I suppose it depends how they do it.
Because he would actually be way over.
I think some of the smarter fans would see past the bullshit.
Maybe.
I mean, I'll like him regardless, because honestly, I'll go on record as saying this. Face or heel, no matter how corny his promos are, he's a great wrestler who's always been consistent, and he always delivers. So I'm a big fan of the guy, believe it or not. I don't think there's much you could do to change his character in the way they would want to change his character, because I don't think they want to change it.
They don't, but I think there's more money to be made.
I think he's going to end up being like a Ricky Steamboat, in that a guy throughout his career that never worked heel.
Well, Rey Mysterio never either.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking like guys that were like... I mean, Rey Mysterio was well known, but I'm talking like guys like from the 80s that were... And he's the only guy I can think of. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And he's gone on record as saying that he regrets not working heel.
Yeah.
But he also has gone on record as saying that he doesn't think that it would have worked.
Yeah.
So, but I see John Cena eventually being in a conversation someday with the kids that are kids now who are eventually going to be 18, 19, 20 years old, saying, oh, what if Cena would have been a heel? Same with us. I mean, we'll be older saying, oh, what if Cena would have been a heel?
Well, again, heel is the wrong term. A more badass Cena. The new American badass.
You're talking about a tweener. They don't do that anymore.
Okay. Hey, it's still Cena. Tweener Cena.
Yeah.
So the only other match that's left worth the damn is Orton and Rollins. Who do you see winning that?
I literally have no idea. I'm going to go with Rollins only because he's my guy. But if Orton won it, I would be fine with it. But I think Rollins is going to win. And here's another situation I didn't bring up when we were discussing Reigns, Lesnar. Rollins, I see winning against Randy Orton. And then that opens up the possibility is no matter who wins, if it's Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. Because if Roman Reigns wins the main event, Seth Rollins is going to cash in on him.
Oh, God.
I guarantee
Here we go.
There's no, hear me out. There's no reason why, there's no other logical reason why they've had Seth Rollins keep the Money in the Bank for this long without thinking of that in their back pocket.
But here's the thing, man. But hear me out here, because I'm not dismissing you. I'm just saying you have to realize what happened last year at Mania. All the big matches. I say other than say Reigns and other than Undertaker and Brock. All those matches happened again, like almost the next night, like rematches for the belts, and then like those feuds continuing damn near until like what's the first one after Mania? Like Over the Limit?
Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules, yeah. Like they extend like for like weeks. So I don't know. There's still time for Rollins.
Well, I'm just saying I think that could happen because it would open up a feud for Rollins and Reigns because we have never seen that.
Yeah. And at the same time, I see a rematch the next night with Rollins and Orton, and that's the thing about between now that that's one of the main matches. It's the only other match that has both guys active. So you know what I'm saying? So that possibility, I can't rule out that possibility of them extending that feud past Mania. Because it's just started back up, and this is not going to be a payoff. And there's still a decision to be made whether, you take someone who you're pushing so hard like Rollins to lose on a big stage like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because
see the way WWE books things. I would almost say if he loses to Orton, there's a better chance that he'll cash in against whoever wins the main event.
I mean, he could be sour. He could probably lose and be sour and run in and try to cash in.
Yeah, and because WWE likes to think, they don't like to think logically.
But
because
Orton doesn't need this win. For the most part, we want to see...
No, I know he doesn't.
We want to see Rollins more or less get his ass kicked versus losing. You know? Like, if he left in a bloody mess, it's as bad as losing.
I think if he gets his ass kicked and then gets a desperation win, I think that's how it's going to be.
Yeah. So I see Rollins winning. So if I go down, say, my card right now, how many heels that I got winning? I got Sting winning, who's a face. I got Brock winning. He's more of a face than Reigns, but nevertheless, he's not the good guy here. I got Rusev.
He's a heel for the conversation anyway.
Yeah. I have Rusev winning, who's also a heel. Now maybe and Rollins winning too. I got Bray Wyatt winning. Dude, this is like the not Empire Strikes Back. This is like, this is the Empire Strikes Back WrestleMania. Because if we're talking
But all those dudes are young dudes, so I could also see that happening.
If we're talking about the money, the big money being in Dallas, then why not have this be like an Empire Strikes Back episode of WrestleMania? Like, why not?
I think this WrestleMania, either way you look at it, not even thinking about Dallas next year, I think this is going to be an off year for WrestleMania.
I think it's just, I think it's the Empire Strikes Back. The only person I see winning is Sting as a face. That's it. So, quickly, let's run through this. So, who do you have for the ladder match?
I'm trying to think who's in it.
Okay, I'll tell you. Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, Stardust, Bad News Barrett, R-Truth, Harper. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan.
I'm going Daniel Bryan. Okay. I say Daniel Bryan because again, if he wants to be the face of SmackDown and the Intercontinental is going to be, because they're not going to bring back the big gold, the Intercontinental belt will be the belt for SmackDown. It'll be the first time in a very long time that we will have depending. This is what I'm thinking, that we're going to have a Intercontinental champion that's someone to look out for to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship.
I don't think they're going to do that.
Oh,
but
God.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So, all right. Not so much, because I could give a fuck about the tag team match. The tag team division is so bleak, but at least the belt is up for the taking.
Yeah.
And you have Los Matadores. You got the O's. Jay has a fucked up shoulder, so there's talks about him not even being able to.
Yeah, they're questionable.
Yeah. And you have the marksman, who I like to call who you call the cat facts? What the fuck did you tweet me?
The uppercats.
Lord. Dude, you have to hear the argument that me and Jake had on Peter and Jake Talks about who's the better tag team between Kid and Cesaro and the Usos. I mean, it was heated. I mean, seriously heated. I mean, I won because he was wrong, but it was very heated.
I'll say this, and I'm only going to say this briefly. I like Kid and Cesaro.
You love them. You and Jake are like fucking homers.
I'll say this about them. If you notice, have you ever seen the Kings of Wrestling in a tag team match?
I've seen them twice on YouTube.
Okay. Tyson Kidd pretty much is Chris Hero.
Yeah.
Or because he does all the stuff that Chris Hero used to do in all of the Kings of Wrestling matches.
Why do you think I called them the marksman? Why do you think I called them the marksman? Because y'all a bunch of marks. They should be called the homers. Because between you...
I'm getting ready to hang up on you.
Oh, dude. You and Jake, I mean, I love them individually. I mean, not so much Kid. I don't like his gimmick. But, I love Cesaro. Anyway, do you see them retaining the belt?
Yes, I do.
I wish the Ascension was in it. Bring the Ascension. I hope they show up instead of the Usos. Huh?
The reason why the Cesaro and Kid are going to win, they just won them. So they're not going to lose them.
All right. I mean, I see them retaining because it doesn't fucking matter who has the belt.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And on to the Divas, the only belt not up. They got a fucking tag team match.
Yep.
And I go, now I could give a fuck about whether Brie or Nikki. It's almost as if the tag team and the Divas division are like they're one and the same to me, right? You could actually put the Bella
Twins. They're both worthless.
You could put the Bella Twins in that fucking that three-way for that belt. It is all the same.
And they can get kicked in the vagina.
It'd be all the same to me. That's how I care less about it. But at least the belt is up for the tag team, and the Divas belt is not even up. That's an injustice. Even though I can give a fuck.
I think it's a whole slap in the face, and I think they're doing it on purpose on this whole give the Divas a chance bullshit.
Think so?
I think it's a big troll move to because they've been saying, and Vince McMahon tweeted that he's acknowledged this whole movement, but I think they're secretly trying to do things that are going against them even trying to do anything with it.
Well, I see it as they have no viable backup to who holds that belt. Like AJ
No,
has
the
that
Divas
belt.
division is completely pointless.
I have no interest in AJ Lee as the Divas champion. I have no
Me neither, because
interest.
she's already the longest reigning champion, so there's no point in her ever having the title again.
How about because I care about paint drying more than
About who?
AJ Lee? About paint drying, grass growing.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I agree.
And
For
Paige,
once we agree on something.
I thought Paige was going to be a star. She's not. She's a fucking nerd. And
She's had one good match
and if you look
that I
at
can
the
think
main,
of off the top of my head.
yeah, and if you look at the main roster, the only people that are even suitable right now for the Divas to even sniff that belt, I would say Nikki Bella, because of the way she looks, not because how she performs. Again, the WWE uses Divas as props.
Yep.
All right, so you look at someone like Nikki Bella, regardless of how bad she is in the ring, she's still like this hot piece of ass. And she's fucking.
He's improving, actually, so.
She plateaued. That was a part where she was getting better, but she's in the
And
ring
then
with
she just
AJ, so she
flatlined,
looks
yeah.
strong anyway. Natalya and Naomi. That's it.
And see,
Them with the
and
belt.
I think we've had this conversation before. It's like, why Naomi should have been at least a 3-time champion already.
I think Naomi's getting that belt probably the next day.
Boy, that's dumb.
Yep.
Why? I understand the Raw after WrestleMania is like a big deal, and it's like the biggest Raw of the year. But why not have the belt change hands at Mania?
Yep.
Why not have the belt on the line at Mania?
Yeah,
it just
it-
makes no sense to me.
It makes, especially when you have every other belt up. I mean, this is like the first time that at least the majority of the belts were up. Last year, how many belts were up?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was the World Heavyweight Championship belt.
The World Heavyweight title, the tag titles, and that was it.
That was it.
Because it was the World Heavyweight title and the Triple Threat, and then you had the tag team titles, Fatal 4-Way match, the Usos, Los Matadors, Real Americans, and Ryback and Curtis Axel.
Damn.
Those are the only 2 matches that had belts on the line.
Did the Divas even have a match last WrestleMania?
There was the Divas Championship Invitational.
Yes.
That was that stupid Battle Royal.
That
So
AJ
the Divas
won.
Title, yeah, the Divas title was on the line last year, but it didn't mean anything because no one cared about that match, and I went to the bathroom.
So, all right. Who do you have winning that tag team, by the way, the Divas tag team?
I'm going to go with AJ and Paige.
I'm
I
going
really don't care.
Empire Strikes Back. The Bellas, baby. They're winning that tag team.
I'm only saying
Nikki,
AJ and
Nikki's
Paige
gonna get the
because I
pin.
like Paige, but
Nikki's gonna get the pin on AJ. It's gonna be something awesome. So the
I
next.
hope so.
So what else is? Yeah, ladder. I guess that's. I think that's it. We get no gold dust, stardust. So whatever. I guess since we last spoke, there's been 2 weeks. So since then, and we're run shot on this. Connor the Crusher being inducted to the Hall of Fame. How do you feel about that? I haven't heard your thoughts on that.
I think it's amazing. I think it's a great, classy move. I think it's awesome.
Do you think? Did you even have an inclination of thinking how when Warrior gave his speech last year about what the Warrior Award would be, or something like that, or an award that for the people who work production? Do you think that was do you think that was slighted?
No.
Okay.
I think it's what the Warrior would have wanted, but I'll also say, and Dana Warrior, who is his wife, and that's her legal last name, mind you.
Yeah.
But she has said that she's fine with it, and she knows that the Warrior would be perfectly happy with it. So no, I don't think it's a slight at all. I think the Warrior, if he was here, would be perfectly happy. And in fact, I had forgot about that part even taking place in his speech last year.
Me too.
Until they showed that clip on Raw
Yeah.
of him saying that.
And up next is Larry Zbyszko.
What about him?
He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think it's...
Your thoughts, like, what do you think of Larry Zbyszko? Because, again, I'm very foggy about his wrestling career. I only know more about him.
He's a two-time world champion in the AWA. He's definitely deserving. And he definitely deserves his spot.
He's alive.
Going in. That too. Did you hear who the one who was announced? They didn't even announce it formally on the show. They announced it, I think, on YouTube or on their YouTube channel or something like that. Tatsumi Fujinami is going in. That was announced.
This is the part in the post-production of this where crickets show up.
Yeah. Because you don't know who I'm talking about.
No, not at all.
Okay, well then you can just cut this part completely out.
No, I cut it out, but it's still relevant.
Okay, well, yeah, he was announced on SmackDown, and I think they're going to announce one final name on Raw this coming Monday, which is rumored to be Kevin Nash.
Ugh.
So,
Ugh.
and he's going to be the headliner, because they don't want a not a live guy to be the headliner of a class.
How about this?
Which makes sense, but whatever.
They may as well either put the gobbledygooker or the
Mantar.
Who?
Mantar.
No, the what's his name? When he fell through the wall, what's his name?
Oh, Shockmaster.
Shockmaster. You know what? They should have a wing in the Hall of Fame with those gimmicks, like they do with the movie awards, like the achievement award,
Like the Razzies?
like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they should have something like that goes back. Like Katie Vick would win one, right?
Yeah, but she's not even a real person.
I know, that was what they would just roll a coffin, open coffin out.
That would just be like
And
the
Triple H would
WrestleCraft
induct
They
her.
already do that.
And Triple H would induct her, dude. Like, yeah, that
you're
would be
losing
gold. That'd be wrestling gold. You know, like Kai and Tai could win one, you know, and they go up.
For chopping Val Venus's wiener off?
Well, they would go up. The microphone would be a wiener. And they would actually give their speech in like overdub.
Yeah.
This is wrestling gold here, man. We could go on for days.
Yeah. I'm not feeling it, man.
Oh, man. Damien can go in, man. Damien.
The Snake?
Yes.
He's not even alive anymore.
Well, Damien will go in. But you see what I'm saying, though? This would be like good, like filler for the Hall of Fame, like just for people to get a good laugh, and for the.
It would make the Hall of Fame seem more worthless than it already is.
No, I guarantee you, if the Gobbledygooker came out as the first inductee into like this sort of like weird like achievement Hall of Fame, he would probably get the biggest pop of the night.
Well, then Puppet H needs to go in, damn it.
Fuck Puppet H.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay.
That's a dumb
Most
gimmick.
people-
I hate what WCW did everything wrong. Like, fuck that. I hate that.
That wasn't WCW.
No, I said it's a YouTube thing with
Oh, yeah.
yeah, with
Are You Serious? That show was great.
Oh, you see, that's it. But yeah,
WCW ruins everything.
ruins everything. That's it. But let's say, man, dude, I think it would be something that would be really fun. It'd be something just for the fans, you know, like something to us to just sort of, you know, like if like say after like someone dead goes in and everyone's kind of like, you know, kind of down to the dumps. That could come up and kind of cheer everybody up and move forward. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I suppose.
It could be.
If you look at it that way, but that's the only way I can look at it.
Gilbert
Just being
can go
serious.
in, dude. Gilbert. could go in. But I've been talking about this too much.
You have.
I think so. I think the only other thing that would be worth talking about, and this is quick, and we'll call it a session. NXT hitting the road. It's happening, and they have a show in Santa Clara or somewhere on Friday, the Friday before WrestleMania. They did was it Cleveland or Columbus?
It was Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, okay, I thought it was Columbus. NXT the
or maybe no, it was. You're right, it was Columbus.
Okay.
They're both in Ohio, so who cares?
Dude, don't say that around an Ohioan. All right.
Well, I'm just saying, Cleveland, Columbus, same thing.
Hey,
Are you an Ohioan?
Hey, I do not support the thoughts and wishes of Nathan. That was him saying that, not me. Okay, guys? If you're from Ohio and you're listening to this, the heat should go to Nathan, okay? Okay, guys? Heat to Nathan. I'm not even part of that. But so they got that. They got they got New York, and then but the most notably is the one before WrestleMania and how big that's going to be for those guys. Because the tickets already went on sale. Like, you can't get a ticket now. Like, I think they sold out in like an hour.
Yep, and they're running in direct competition with Supercard of Honor.
Yeah, dude. Whew. Talk about.
So, and if I know a bunch of people that are going to be out there. If I was out there, I would go to Ring of Honor.
You would, because you're a mark.
Yeah. No, I would, because Jushin Thunder Liger, and when are you ever going to get to see him in America?
Oh, I hear you. Well, but here's the thing. What NXT is like a super indie, you know? It's a super indie. It's going to be awesome. I don't know. I just think it's going to be great. I had this thought, because whenever you go on the road, man, it's just so costly. You know, it's so costly. But I think what Triple H is doing with this is breaking even. I think they're just, because they're not selling them at like a ridiculous price. I think it's like $10 or something, right? 10, 15 bucks.
Something like that. I don't know. I didn't look at the tickets.
So
if I do, it's just going to tempt me.
Hey, I think just the card itself is going to be tempting because, oh man, you know, it and what would top it off if Samoa Joe was already signed and he was going, that would, you would not.
That's not going to happen.
I know, but what if Joe was on that? You would not go to Ring of.
I've met the guy. I've shot one of his matches, so I don't need to meet the guy. I don't need to see him again.
But just him in a WWE ring, though.
So what?
Okay, all right.
I can see that on NXT on Thursdays on the network.
Okay, all right. That's what's up.
I've met the guy. I've shot one of his matches personally, so.
You need any more badges there, brother?
Really? Huh?
You need more badges? Anything else you do? Did you tote his bags? Did you kiss his wife? Did you?
No.
Were you his best man?
No.
Are you the godfather to his child?
Will you just shut up?
Yo, plug away, dude.
Okay, well, this has been a real treat, I guess. You can follow me at Headliner5 on Twitter, and that's the number 5. You can also follow at Eyes on the Ring, at Eyes on the Ring, Elite Podcast Network, at Elite Podcast Net. Check out eyesonthering.com. I write Ring of Honor reviews. We're going to have, me and a buddy of mine, John, we're going to have a WrestleMania preview that's going to be going up soon that still needs to be written. So we'll have that for you. Also, check out darts.spreadshirt.com to get all your Eyes on the Ring and Team Dar merchandise. Check us out on blogtalkradio.com/Elite Podcast Network. There's Indie Power Rankings. There's Uncle Mike and Tom Show. There's Wrestling Heads. There's us, Eyes on the Ring. And new to the stable of podcasts that was just added was Four Corners Radio. So they are with the Elite Podcast Network now. And then you can also search Stitcher for Elite Podcast Network. And then finally, Facebook.com/Eyes on the Ring. So there you go.
Wait, you done? You done, dude?
Yep.
All right, okay. All right.
I'm sorry, I'm important, so I've got stuff to talk about.
No, that was a proper burial. I'm sorry. I was only kidding, guys. I wasn't asleep, and nor was I dissing Nathan, okay? I was just trying to be funny because that's a whole laundry list, dude.
Yeah, I had to write it down because my brain wouldn't remember all that stuff.
Is there like another one of you walking around taking care of at least half of that? Do you have like a Nathan Dow?
Like a robot? No, I don't.
No, a Nathan Dow.
No. A stunt double? No, I wish.
Oh, speaking of which,
that'll be my next endeavor.
Who wins the Battle Royal?
What?
Who wins the Battle Royal?
Oh, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle
yeah.
Royal?
Mark Henry's a new entry now.
Mark Henry's a new entry?
Yep.
He's not going to win.
He'll be the Final Four.
Yeah, he will be, but he's not going to win. Mizdow is going to win.
I got Ryback.
Okay. I'd be fine with that, too. But we only predicted 4 matches, and I think there's a lot more that's been announced.
Oh, because this Battle Royal is going to become the new King in the Ring, you know?
Did you watched Raw on Monday, right? I can't remember if it was... No, it was actually on SmackDown. They shot the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy. It's super weird.
It's ginormous.
Yeah, but they zoomed in on its groin area, and it was like super awkward for like 5 minutes.
No, I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
You sick freak.
No, I didn't pay attention to it either, but like there was people on Twitter that were mentioning it like that's a super awkward way to shoot a trophy.
I'm gonna try to find like The Rock saying that and just like I'm gonna plug that in there somehow.
What?
Whenever The Rock talked to Kelly, you call him a sick freak.
Oh, Kevin Kelly?
Kevin Kelly, like I'm gonna put that in there.
He's now in Ring of Honor?
You sick freak.
Yeah.
Put your finger in your nose. Wait,
I think that was the coach. Or Michael Cole, I don't know.
Well, he called him all... No, he called Kelly a... He called him a... what did he call him? A hermaphrodite.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He called him a hermaphrodite. I forgot all about that. That's the fucked up shit. But anyway, let's go ahead. I'm gonna close out. All right, listen to go to pjtwcentral.com and always keep in touch. Keep up with all the new podcasts. Be sure to listen to Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. We reviewed Raw. Check out, if you're listening to this now, Saturday, Peter Talks SmackDown. Also listen to Faster Than the World podcast. And between me and Nate and what he has going on, we're just trying to keep shit moving. So do yourself a favor. You be doing us a big favor. Share, repost, like, thumbs up, comment, repost, retweet. Do all of that stuff for us, man. All of that stuff is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for listening to Peter and Peter Talks Wrestling With, a.k.a. Peter and the Nerd. You got
You're more of a nerd than I am.
I'm not a nerd, and I'm not a turd.
Neither am I.
And I'm not a turd.
I take a nerd and a turd. That should be our podcast name.
Well, you're gonna be. I'll be the turd. I'll be the turd all day.
Yeah.
The nerd and the turd.
That needs to be our podcast name. I don't even mind.
So thank you for listening to Nerd and Turd. Be sure to tune in either next week or next 2 weeks. I'll let you know in a few. You got any last words, homie? You got any last words for the people, for the kind people?
No, not really. I said all I needed to say. So, again, follow me at Headliner5, and that's about it.
All right.
So,
thank you so much for listening, motherfuckers.